Hey everyone, so I wanted to show you guys my thought process in the demolishing of these generals for medals. As you can see here, I haven't really done promotions at all, so this is actually a great change because it's forcing me to actually upgrade. But as you see here, I'm out of medals. So we're going to go back into the research factory and we're going to just exchange all of these fragments. Now, I already have 2 tokens of Shajar, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of them, demolish them. And one thing that I didn't do here is I didn't actually have my crafting gear on. So make sure you put on your crafting gear if you're going to do all this. Not like it matters. I'm sure you guys have millions of crafting speeds you don't ever use, but you can put on the craft gear, which is what I'm going to do here, just so I feel like I'm being responsible. You can change your culture too. There's like a percentage you can save a culture, and then of course your duty general will give you 70% speed if you make it a super duty general. So I'm just gonna go through all of this, and I decided, as you can painstakingly see me like go back and forth deciding, do I want to do 60? Do I want to do 30? Do I want to do 60? 30. So I have decided to just do 60 because truthfully, if yeah, I have enough other fragments that I can make up for the metals. So I'm just gonna, like, for like safety and for feeling of security, I'm just gonna keep 60 fragments. You can do whatever you want. You can go down to 0 if you want. Like, I'm always just gonna keep 1 though, because I have learned with Evony, always keep 1 of something. So I'm just gonna get rid of Napoleon's. I'm surprised that I didn't have a lot of him. He's quite old, so I'm surprised that I didn't have a lot of him. Who else? George Dewey. I still use him. So this guy, I still use on my defense wall because they haven't come out with a Covenant defense general. So you guys got my car analogy on the last video. Same thing. I'll probably switch Dewey out at some point, but you know. Okay. Tutmos, I think he's is he a siege or ground general? I can't remember. He's very, very old. So goodbye to you. I'm just stacking up my medals here. And I cannot wait to see the total of when I do all this. Tareen, thank you for giving me a 10-star general, but I am dismissing you. Goodbye, Tareen. Okay. Henry. Wow, Henry's like really old. I remember him 2 years ago when I started out on Evony. Or 3 years. Was it 3 years? Probably. Feels like forever. Charles, I thought was like fairly newer. Goodbye, Charles. I feel like this is a funeral for all the generals. They're not dying, they're just going off to different pastures. Wow, I got a lot of Edward the Thirds. Can't go wrong with a ginger. I love gingers. I don't understand why they get bad raps. They're so rare. What else? So that's 102k medals. That's crazy. Wow, Mordred. So this must have been the peak of some of the spending, because Mordred is when I got this account. That makes sense. That makes sense. Because I remember deciding between Mordred or Lil Namosa, and I wanted to do Lil Namosa instead. Thank you, Mordred, for giving me a lot of medals, and he was kind of creepy looking. All right. I couldn't trust sitting in a room with Mordred. He just looks like he's always up to something. Who's next? Oh, John Churchill. Yeah, I hate guys with those white wigs. He had to go. He had to go. Goodbye, John Churchill. And he also seemed like fairly new. Okay, this one I wanted to point out. Do you see Edward Teach, the pirate guy? So I have 679 of him, and he's a siege general, and you know that I need a 10-star siege general to finish my senate for siege. So instead of using Zucca, I can just dismiss all the Zucca fragments and get the medals, and then just use Edward. So I wouldn't have known that if I didn't actually look at my inventory. So make sure you double check your inventory because you might come across from that as well. Same thing here. So as you see, I have enough Aurelians to make a 10-star, and I kept Salt in the Senate because I only needed one more star, but that actually required like 4 or 5 more generals. And I don't really need to fish in the tavern and spend gems if I already have Aurelian, who could just be my 10-star ground general. So I did a switch up again on Salt. Now, I was in mid crafting when it came to me to not, to cancel. So at least you know that when you cancel, you get all of your materials back, or you get everything back. It's not like how when you cancel on upgrading buildings, you get only half RSS back. So thankfully I could cancel it with no like consequence. And so what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dismantle Salt. So I will be able to get the fragments back and then the Blood of Ares. Now, if you're a different type of player, maybe you're a free or lower coiner, you might not want to waste the Blood of Ares because every little drop is precious to you. I get it, because when you dismantle and you get Blood of Ares back, you're only getting, I think, 80% back of what you actually put in the beginning. But you can see that I have a lot of Blood of Ares, so I'm going to go ahead and just dismiss him so that literally when we get to the Trial of Knights, which I think this weekend we're going to get the Trial of Knights because we didn't get it the last event, right? So I'm pretty sure that I'll be upgrading a lot of generals for Trial of Knights. So we're going to go ahead and dismantle Salt. Okay, so I went through every single general, and we are going to see the grand freaking total of how many badges I got. 983.3k. That is crazy. So let's see what buffs I've been missing out on this whole time. Okay, so here's a strategy I'm going to take on this. I'm going to do all of my siege buffs first because, as you know, we siege and we range a lot. So I'm going to focus on those first because your medals are very precious, right? You get those medals in the cake. You get them in, I think, the royal parties. So they're very, very, very expensive. They have not yet been offered in other packs that I have seen. I haven't seen any. So I probably should have researched this a little bit more, but if I make a mistake, let me know in the comments and then I can go research it. But I did all of my siege and range as far as I was comfortable to go. And what that means is I would go through a medal and then do the Blood of Ares, right? It tells you blood. Once I get to the medal again, I stop because I want to make sure that I'm putting those medal towards the best buffs, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go through this, get rid of my Blood of Ares, and then go to the next one to get the best. Now, you can do whatever buffs are best for you. So like if you're a monster hunter and you don't do anything else, you don't play battlefields, just concentrate on the mount, right? If you're a solo player, maybe you're on a new server and you have to ground a lot, maybe concentrate on ground. It's funny because I remember talking to Big T and saying, my ground stats just suck. And I'm not talking about like the in rally one. I'm talking about just the solo ground stats. And now I realize, looking back, it's like, oh yeah, it's because I always choose to do the siege and range stats first because of the targets that we get in BOCs. And from a team perspective, I'm thinking of what we target first. So that is why. Would I want to upgrade my ground at some point? I mean, I do enjoy doing the solo challenge battles. I had so much fun the last challenge, just soloing a bunch of people. I just when I first started Evony, I was a soloist kind of player. We didn't really have a big rally team, so we did have fun doing rallies, but it was only like, 5 to 6, 7 people. So in my early days, I was a soloist. I was a solo artist. All right, so just doing the same strategy here. I'm just going to be really cognizant of what I'm upgrading and not going through my medals irresponsibly, I guess is the way you can put it. Um, at first, I thought these stats on top were kind of dinky, but just remember that it's 7.2% times 3, right? It's your attack, defense, and HP. Unfortunately, it's just attacking, but at least it's not just in rallies. So it will apply for your solo and attacking. So I think that's smart to upgrade that. I truly try to upgrade those before I ever go to in rally type of stuff, just because I think it's important to have more buffs on both types of attacks. Obviously, the best, type of stat to get is the one that covers you attacking and defense. Those are my favorite types of stats because this one is just defending, but that was pretty high. In rally range troop attack, I mean, 22% is pretty good, especially because we use it so much. 28%, that's nice. That's a nice, healthy, chunky stat. So I'll have to go back and get more medals, or I'll have to look to see if there are other buffs that are going to be less medals that I can upgrade to. So I will say that I have not researched this topic at all. You guys are seeing me do this in real time, like literally seeing me do this whole thought process and everything in real time. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I know I tend to be a little late on things because I like to wait until I hear more research on stuff. You know how when people don't update a software program, I'm one of those people that like waits to hear all the bug reports first. So I haven't really heard a lot on this. Maybe because people think it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't know. But yeah, I'm super happy. I'm content. My only fear is in 3 hours, Evany drops like this huge update that's like, you need 6,000 general token fragments to upgrade your, keep to K100, like I'm just hoping that they don't do that. And if they don't do that, I'll be happy. I feel like I spent on these buffs. I spent on those medals. Obviously, those medals cost money from a lot of things that I've bought. So I like, yeah, I'm content. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and good luck on demolishing. And this is your reminder, by the way, that you need to make your decision in 3 hours.